Hey guys, welcome to the countdown series to our new upcoming album Beatrice Reborn. In each of these videos I will be taking you through each chapter of the story of Beatrice, so I hope you will enjoy it. The first chapter of the story is called The Return and it's the intro to the whole journey. Beatrice returns to London, the city where her life unraveled, where her dreams were born and where they turn into nightmares. The chapter opens with the resonant toll of Big Ben echoing like a somber reminder of time slipping away. As her carriage clatters through the cobblestone streets, Beatrice reflects on the chain of events that led her to this point. The familiar sights and sounds stir memories she has long tried to bury, but with each passing second, with each chime of the bell, the weight of her past grows heavier and heavier. Despite her fear, she feels a strange compulsion to return, driven by a need to confront her fate, even as she knows it could be her undoing. The second chapter is Last Breath, and you can find a nice music video on our YouTube channel. Beatrice approaches Detective Matthews with a heavy heart. This time she doesn't intend to run, but to confess everything she has done. As she stands before him, she feels the need to tell the whole story. She recounts the ball, the betrayal, the murders of John, Cassidy and Vincent. She admits that she can no longer live with all these secrets and needs to finally take responsibility for her actions. Matthews listens with a cold expression, not interrupting her once. Beatrice knows that her journey is nearing its end, but she feels relieved that she has confessed to everything. Third chapter, Broken Heart. The story flashes back to the night that changed everything. At the grand ball, Beatrice was excited to start a new life with John, the man she loved. But the night took a dark turn when John left early, claiming illness. Disappointed, she left later, still upset that her friend Cassidy hadn't come. Approaching John's house, she was overcome with dread. Inside, she found John and Cassidy in a lover's embrace. Betrayed and enraged, she grabbed a fireplace poker and struck them both down. As the flames consumed their bodies, Beatrice realized her moment of fury had destroyed everything. Chapter number 4, Shadows. You can find a nice music video on YouTube. Haunted by her actions, Beatrice flees into the rainy London night, the city's shadows seeming to reach out, pulling her deeper into despair. She races through the darkened streets, her mind swirling with thoughts of her shattered life. Each step is a struggle, torn between the instinct to survive and the crushing weight of guilt. At last, she reaches the outskirts of the city and stumbles upon a small village called Pinxton. Clothed in mist, the village feels untouched by time, a sanctuary where the horrors of her past might be held at bay. Exhausted and desperate, she seeks refuge at her sister Jeanette's, hoping for a fresh start through the shadows of her past still loom close. Chapter number 5, Sanctuary. In Pinxton, Beatrice begins to rebuild her life. The simple rural life on the farm offers her a peace she hasn't known in years. She throws herself into the work, finding solace in the daily routines. Her sister Jeanette and her husband Mark welcomed her without a question, giving her the space to heal. For the first time since the horrific night, Beatrice feels something akin to happiness. The nightmares that once plagued her begin to fade, replaced by the comforting rhythms of farm life. She convinces herself that the past is behind her and that she can be free of guilt that once consumed her. But deep down she knows that this peace is fragile and delicate, a facade that could shatter at any moment. Chapter number 6, Murder. Beatrice's peaceful life unravels when Jeanette reveals their family's crippling debt to ruthless loan shark Vincent. Pregnant and terrified, Jeanette fears losing everything. Guilt-ridden and desperate, Beatrice confronts Vincent, begging for more time, but he cruelly refuses. Realizing the only way to save her sister is to eliminate him, Beatrice battles her conscience but succumbs to survival instincts. She sneaks into Vincent's home, strangles him and destroys the debt records. The murder brings no relief, only the haunting realization that she has become a killer once again. Chapter number 7. Suspicion. Vincent's murder shocks the small village of Pinxton, but few mourn his death. Detective Matthews arrives to investigate, and the villagers are more than willing to share their disdain for the loan shark. Matthews finds the lack of evidence and the villagers' hatred of Vincent suspicious. As he digs deeper, he begins to suspect that this murder might be linked to the unresolved double murder in London. His mind races as he recalls the detail of the London's case: burned bodies, a female perpetrator, and the whispers of a woman seen fleeing the scene. Matthews senses a connection, though he can't quite put his finger on it. Meanwhile, Beatrice grows increasingly paranoid, sensing that the detective is getting closer to uncovering her secret. The tension in the village mounts as Matthew's presence becomes more ominous, and Beatrice fears that her past sins are finally catching up with her. Chapter number 8. Back to London. Convinced that the worst is behind her, Beatrice decides to leave Pinxton and return to London to pursue her dream of becoming an opera singer. She believes that if she can achieve this one goal, it will somehow make up for her horrors she has committed. Her mind is filled with thoughts of a bright future, one where she is no longer defined by her past, but by her talent and success. As she rides back to the city, she envisions herself on the grand stage, her voice soaring above the orchestra, earning the adoration of the audience. This dream gives her the strength to move forward, even as the spectre of her crimes looms over her. She tells herself that she can leave the past behind and finally become the person she always wanted to be. Chapter number 9. Desire. Beatrice's dream seems within reach as she steps into the world of opera. She is given the opportunity to perform on stage, and the excitement and anticipation are almost overwhelming. She throws herself into her rehearsals, desperate to prove herself. On the night of her debut, she stands in the wings, trembling with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. She prays for everything to go perfectly, for her voice to carry her to new heights. This moment is what she has been waiting for, a chance to rewrite her story and become something greater than her past self. As she steps on the stage, she feels as though she is on the brink of a new beginning, her heart filled with hope that this performance will be the first step towards redemption. Chapter number 10. Voice of Conscience. As Beatrice looks into the audience, she catches sight of the faces she had tried to forget: John, Cassidy, and Vincent. They are all there, sitting and watching her from the seats. A chill runs down her spine. She hears the voice of her conscience reminding her that she cannot escape her past. Panic overtakes her and she runs out of the theatre, fleeing into the streets of London. Terrified, she breaks into Detective Matthews' home, waiting for his return. When the detective arrives, she tells him the story and confesses to everything. She asks him what awaits her now and is ready to face her fate. Matthews coldly informs her that she will be brutally tortured and publicly executed for her crimes. He also assures her that now, knowing her true identity, he will find her wherever she tries to hide. In a moment of desperation, as Matthews prepares to arrest her, Beatrice draws a revolver and shoots him in the shoulder, and then she escapes. Chapter number 11. Time to leave. Beatrice stands at the edge of a cliff, feeling the cold wind whip against her face, and she contemplates her life. She reflects on what it would be like to turn back time and change her actions. In front of her, she sees the faces of John, Cassidy, Vincent, and Matthews. She remembers how much she wanted to become an opera singer, live a happy life with her fiancé, and be an ordinary girl. But now, all of that is gone. Her dreams have dissolved into murder and violence. She realizes that her only redemption is to accept the final punishment she has imposed on herself. With one last look at the world around her, one final apology to those she has hurt, Beatrice closes her eyes and jumps from the cliff into the dark waves below. The next day, Detective Matthews, still injured, finds her body. The story of Beatrice, filled with longing, pain and lost hopes, ends, while the London life continues its daily routine like never has ever happened. I hope you enjoyed the story behind our album Beatrice Reborn, and now when you will be listening to the songs, that you will keep in your mind the story behind and maybe feel more the action. Thank you very much. Bye.